Welcome back to the Flaherty Solutions Podcast. We are so glad you're here. I'm Erin Flaherty.
I like what you did there.
Thanks.
That was good. I'm Kevin Flaherty. How is everybody?
It's the second one. We're recording a second
in a row,
and we're going to do a third. And you always say that it takes us.
The first one's a warm-up.
Yeah.
In the biz. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
We're so phony right now.
You pointed that out. You pointed that out that we bring more energy. So
100%.
What are we talking about today, Kevin?
Today we are talking about who do you serve?
Explain that.
All right. So I've witnessed this, and this is business success. All right. Mm-hmm. If you want business success, turn that volume up. We got the podcast back on.
Go over our episodes. Go back over like every episode we've ever recorded because I think we bring success.
That's right. But the one key that I've really honed in on this year that I'm witnessing with your companies, all of them, because you got like 1,000. She's got the franchisor. Mm-hmm. So if you are interested in buying a franchise, talk to this girl right here because she's killing it. If you need bookkeeping services, she's killing it. Her team's killing it. If you want to have a special request for some food, want me to cook it up, I'll do that on YouTube.
You're also a pretty fab money manager too.
Yep. So there is that too. I do that.
Yeah.
That is my main hustle. I love that. I do love that. So who do you serve? So hands down, when we talk about resourcefulness and answering calls and stuff like that, who is it you're answering the call to? So Erin, you're a great example, and I'm going to use you as the case study. When Erin's clients contact her, like she is just immediately turning around. What do you need? How can we help? And then she's getting the project taken care of. So there's an immediate response time. That is who she is serving. All right, that's been her primary avenue to serve people. But now what she's done, and I've witnessed this, which is really neat, is she still gets phone calls for the bookkeeping services. And now she's got a whole team. She's able to just take that phone call, hand it right off. All right. And she's focusing who she serves on her franchisees. So it's gone from people bought the franchise to here's the book, here's the manual, here's how you run a successful Flaherty Solutions. And, it's been going like that for 6 months. Well, in August, I saw something click. And she was just like, I'm done just giving them the manual. I want to serve them. I want to make them successful. And when you saw that click, within a week, a franchisee, boom, sale. Next week, boom, another sale. One of them was just really, Erin took it and, just put her arms around it and said, I am going to make you successful. Flaherty Solutions, the bookkeeping, headquarters one, that's doing its thing. But franchisees, what do you need? Let's go. Let's do this. And she brought her arms around them, and she's taking them to the promised land. And that is very cool.
What a tribute. Thank you.
Did you did you have a mental shift when that happened?
It's interesting that you say that because I also feel like I go through phases where my focus is also my team at headquarters. Like you said that too.
Well, actually, witnessed that big time.
So it goes from, of course, we serve clients, and without the clients, we wouldn't have a team.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where the clients have to come first. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed this shift where I've said this before, and at the risk of sounding like greedy or whatever, I'll say it again. You have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Before you can 100%. Serve others. Yes. I think that there's methodology that goes the other way that says you can serve other people first. I think you have to be in a good place yourself.
100% agree.
So that you can have enough resources, because if you serve without resources, you don't have anything to give.
Yeah.
So you have to set up. So I have seen a shift where I'll serve my team and just make sure that they're my first priority. Yeah. And then yes, I did feel a shift where the franchisees are my top priority. Unfortunately, there's still so many things going on at headquarters that I wish I could spend full time on my franchisees, but Does that make sense? So I
Yes.
felt more of a shift
Yes.
with my team, but it's what I will say. I felt more of a shift going from making sure we were okay to serving others. That's
Yeah.
a really nice feeling.
Yeah. No, and I remember we had a lot of talks off camera about, who do you serve from, we weren't even calling it then. We weren't even calling it that then. It was just like, we're feeling good. We're in a good position. How do we help others? And that's where it kind of encompassed into this business of, well, I'm helping my team. What does my team need? And you're adding, different benefits and adding what do they need in their life to help them be more successful at what they do. And then it just kind of went to your franchisees. Like, they're doing some of the activity, but how do I get in there and make sure that they're getting the right activity? And once that happened, LA, we can spotlight LA, right?
Yes,
I
Clarity
hear-
Solutions LA is off the charts.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
And North Carolina is doing
Yes,
some things. Like, I
yes.
hear these things. It's awesome. It's exciting. And the others we definitely talk about too. Everything's just moving.
Yes.
It's cool.
Exactly, yes. And it takes those first few sales for the franchisees to actually know what they're selling.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
that's like anything.
Right.
But
yeah, and it just takes a lot of activity and a lot of frustration. And even when you are successful, like there have been days, Clarity Solutions LA is very busy. And, so.
Sorry, Melanie. You love it. You love it.
So who are you serving?
Well, that's really interesting, and I hope I'm actually going to share this with some of my YouTube family. When I shifted my YouTube channel's focus, all right, I always shift to YouTube because it's like my entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
talk finance a lot on here.
Well, you can do whatever you want with YouTube, right?
Yes.
To a degree.
And with finance, if I say something wrong, then all of a sudden it's a sticky area. So I don't like to talk about that. So, but I'd be happy to talk to you about it if you want to. I'm always willing to talk finance. I just don't want to do it on an open platform. With YouTube, I was so caught up with I got to buy an expensive cut of meat. I got to show people that I can cook this amazing thing they'll never see, and I want to impress other YouTubers. And when I was like, why do I care? Well, I care what other YouTubers think, but why am I trying to serve them? And this April, I was like, I want to serve people that have never gotten in their backyard with a new smoker. I want to service the people that are beginners, all right, that have questions, that have a million questions, that are always thinking what is it? How do I make this fire go to cook my food? As soon as I did that and I provided that content, my channel took off. And because I was serving my audience, these audience members were saying how do I start a fire? I'm a cook. You would think everybody knows how to start a fire. No, as soon as you start answering those questions very focused, that's when my channel took off. And it was just so exciting. And it continues. I get questions all the time. I got one the other day. What's the first type of meat I should cook outside? And, how many times have I cooked outside? It's something
Right.
I would think why would anyone
yes.
ever think about that? Well, the kid's 23 years old and he's never cooked outside before.
Or he's just never had time to cook. Maybe
Yeah.
he's 43 and he's
Yeah.
never had time to do this. And
He's
now
lived in a city, never had a backyard.
Right.
Yep.
I
now he
also
does.
don't. I think your YouTube channel is similar to a lot of businesses starting out, where I don't think you knew what direction you were going at first.
Yes.
You had the family involved, and this, you didn't know. You're like, do I
Booted
involve the
you
family?
guys out.
Well, you're kind of family's got to be in it, but we got to make it look professional. Then you're like,
Yeah.
no, they love the family, be raw. You
Yeah.
just had no idea.
It's hard to know which direction you're going.
But the community that you serve will help drive your product or your
Yeah.
service. And I think, so all of us, when we talk about success and finance, there's this I want to make money, I want to do really well. But then you've got those, am I bringing the energy still? But then you have those clients or those viewers or, so you're like, yeah, hungry, get the deal. But then you've got those clients or those people that you help that really humbles you
Yeah.
and reminds you of the value that you're providing, and not just I'm gonna make so much money on YouTube, or I'm gonna make so much you want, of course we all want to do well, we want plenty of money to have the things we want and to serve others, but you have those really humbling moments that that reminds you of why you're valuable and not just
Yeah.
worth a lot of money. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I remember I was in mortgages, as I've talked about on the first episode when I kind of talked about my life story up till now. And in mortgages, you know, it's all like, go get them, you know, get this loan. And then the first loan I ever sold, his name was Charles. I don't know his last name and I wouldn't say it just for privacy, but his name was Charles. And I'm there like with my pitch deck, I'm like going through it. And I'm like, guess what, Mr. Blah, 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 you're approved. And he was like, thank God. And he really was like, and I'm like about to go with my pitch. And I was like, oh my God, like this guy is seriously so happy that he's approved by me.
Yeah.
And so you have those humbling moments, and you've had that where you literally got someone out of a cooking bind where they had guests coming and you told them what to do to make sure the meat was ready in time. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are not what you envision when you think like success.
No.
But it's what makes you successful, because you're only successful if you're valuable.
Well,
Right?
I tell myself that every night before I go to bed.
But right?
I am valuable.
But isn't that true? Like
Yeah,
you
it
have to
is.
bring value to your brand or else you're not going to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to bring the value. Like I see this all the time. We get approached like, hey, Amazon's starting to deliver and they're looking for franchisees to be the last mile, meaning they want you to buy a fleet of vans and you pick up the packages at a truck stop and then you take them all over. And they're like, people are like, oh, we're going to make money off this. Should I pull out money to invest in this? And it's like, you're not passionate about that. What brand is that?
Right.
So when you are the brand, when you are bringing the passion, you are more likely to succeed if you're focusing on serving a community.
Mm-hmm. And not making it like, you know, it's really easy, especially when you're starting out, to be like, this isn't worth my time, man. Like, you know, I'm helping this person. I'm only making like $50, like whatever. Like it's easy to get hung up on that. But when you're focused, but when you build your business enough and you make sure that you're stable enough, you're able to truly focus on providing value and not really worry about like the time. You know what I mean? I haven't like I hate like punching a clock because it just gets to the point where you're like, okay, what am I doing right now? And you have to have boundaries with that, but you're not getting to the point where you're nickeling and diming your every 15 minutes to the billable hour.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
It's weird because like you find this balancing act where you're like, well, I should charge. I don't need to, but I should. And then you're like,
yes, to put value on it.
Yeah.
No, you do. And that's a whole other podcast,
Yeah.
you know, is pricing your services and what to give away for free and when to charge. I mean, my gosh, we could do a whole 5-part miniseries on that.
Yeah.
We might.
Well, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
I've said my piece.
I think we pumped this audience enough. Maybe made them laugh at us a little bit. We hope. And the next episode is "It's Good to Be Good," which you don't even know what we're going to talk about. We're going to do it. I wonder how my energy is going to come with the third episode.
I know we're going to be tired.
All right, let us know what you think. Let us know what helped you in this episode, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.